Okay, let's take a live look outside on this beautiful Sunday. Just a really warm one out there. If you went out early afternoon, you were like, whoa, it's hot, kind of hot. Feels like a summer day, not a fall day. Let's bring in Weather Impact Team Chief Meteorologist Kathy Sabin. So more warm days as we head into October?
It felt to me like it could be a record-tying day.
Did it?
Just when I was walking around.
You're guessing?
Yeah, it definitely felt like a record-tying day. We did tie a record at 92 degrees in Denver today. Tom pretends to be all about news and sports, but he knows a lot about weather too, clearly. This day, so beautiful, but so warm for this time of year. Great day to be outdoors. Still some leaves to be found in the high country and decent travel weather for you out there. But when you have temperatures like this at the end of September, you know we're going to be talking about fire danger, elevated fire danger coming up over the next few days. 92 ties the record of 92 set back in 1892. Jacob, you good? You got that, buddy? Okay. Just want to make sure you didn't fall and trip or anything.
It's Tom's
fault.
That's
what I do. Temperatures are so warm, you guys. We're still 89 degrees in downtown Denver, 93 in Greeley, 90 in Grand Junction. As you look at these current readings, just kind of for comparison and just sort of to give you some, I don't know, 74 is where we should be this time of year. So when you kind of look at that perspective, you can see how that's really unusual. And so we continue to talk about global warming and climate change. And then as we talk about the winds coming in and drying out the atmosphere further, we'll be talking about elevated fire danger this week and red flag warnings, fire weather warnings. But we do have a weak front coming in tonight, and that means temperatures will come down a little bit, but the wind will ramp up. So red flag warnings continue for eastern Colorado, fire weather watch for Jackson and Brown counties until 7 o'clock. This may be expanded out tomorrow with the arrival of a front that's allowed in very little moisture across our state today. So enjoy the temperatures for the next few hours. Take the kids to the park, have dinner on the patio. Why not? 70s after sunset tonight, and we may have some 70s in the extended period. We're going to talk about that and detail the extended forecast in just a bit.
Tonight, a man has been arrested in Denver after police say he may have been involved in his roommate's death. Denver police say they responded to reports on Friday about a possible drug overdose at a motel on North Vasquez Boulevard near Elyria, Swansea. First responders found the man inside one of the rooms. They tried to save him, but he died there at the scene. Later, an autopsy found he had internal injuries and significant trauma. Police have since arrested the man's roommate, 27-year-old Dakota Lule, for second-degree murder and assault. Tonight, the homicide remains under investigation with final charges pending.
Aurora police are still investigating an overnight shooting that left one person dead. It happened about 3 a.m. on Boston Street near 17th and Chester. Investigators say a 20-year-old man showed up at a nearby hospital after being shot, and he later died from his injuries. Police say evidence from the scene suggests the man may have been targeted. They say there is no danger to the public tonight. Police haven't said whether they have a suspect in custody. The shooting is still under investigation.
A hiker accused of exposing himself to women over several months in Jefferson County last year will be sentenced tomorrow. 21-year-old Glenn Braden is going to be sentenced on 3 counts, part of a plea deal that he accepted last month. That dismissed more than a dozen other charges. Braden was arrested last summer after purposefully exposing himself to women on several trails over a span of 4 months. His sentencing is set for 11 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Democratic Attorney General Phil Weiser is taking Kroger and Albertsons to court. He sued back in February to block a merger between the two grocery giants, and now that case goes to trial tomorrow. The merger was announced back in 2022. Since then, it's been criticized by antitrust experts who say that merger would allow competition, lower the competition, it would drive up prices. However, the CEO of Kroger insists it's going to be the opposite and that it could lower prices and they could better compete with Walmart and Amazon. Weiser outlined his reasoning earlier this week.
From the Palisade Peaches growers, they said, we have 2 companies competing to offer Palisade Peaches today. Those 2 companies merge, they're not going to have the same competitive pressure to offer our products on the shelves.
Beyond the Colorado case, a federal judge heard arguments about the merger earlier this month. Closing arguments were last week. A ruling is expected any day now.
We turn now to a church in Denver, one that's been standing for centuries, but now there's an uncertain future. Trinity United Methodist Church has been serving the community since the mid-1800s. Those services, though, could look different soon.
Leadership says holdups for a federal tax credit is forcing them to make some tough decisions. 9 News reporter Janelle Finch joins us with what the church is facing now. Janelle.
Trinity United Methodist Church is doing everything it can to keep from falling to financial struggles, but the IRS is holding up a large chunk of funds, impacting its budget. A choir isn't complete without the altos, sopranos, tenors, and basses. And a church isn't complete without its people.
And we want to be there for our community, but we have to be able to keep our doors open to do that.
Sheila Alice House is the Finance Committee Chair at Trinity United Methodist Church. The church has been a pillar of downtown Denver since 1859, but Alice House says making it another century and a half could be a challenge.
Our revenue is down, and we're struggling this year in particular because we have not yet received a refund from the IRS called the ERC, which is an employee retention credit based on the CARES Act.
And about how much money are you waiting on?
We budgeted $170,000 in our budget for this year.
She says the church has been waiting on an ERC refund for 15 months. The IRS says it's been flooded with claims and even had to temporarily stop processing them. The agency says improper and fraudulent claims are delaying payments on legit and valid claims.
So we're hopeful it will happen soon, but there's no way for us to know exactly when.
In the meantime, Trinity is considering scaling back its electrical usage, administrative services, and staffing, all to keep this from being the end of their song.
We are working really hard to find every way possible that we can cut expenses, and we feel like we've done really at this point everything that we can.
Though Trinity's future is cloudy, faith keeps their pews full.
We believe that the message of Jesus is so much bigger than dollar signs. And as long as we're focused there, as long as we keep what matters in front of us, we believe it's all going to work out.
Alice House says the church congregation has been able to raise $57,000, but that still leaves about $110,000 they still don't have. So they've been reaching out to state lawmakers in the hopes that they'll help them plead their case to the IRS. Live in Denver, Janelle Finch, 9 News.